to the KetoMom page. My name is Stephanie. This is my amazing husband, Steve, and we have a question for you. It's very important that you answer. It's very important that you answer. Do you see the word discipline as if you hear discipline, does it trigger you to think negative? Or do you hear discipline and then do you think yeah, I'm disciplined. This is great. Do you think goals and achievement, rewards, or do you think a spanking? A discipline,
out
right?
of all words, yep. Spanking. So how do you see it?
How do you see the word discipline? You could just say negative or positive. Answer below. We're going to dive into this book called The Power to Change. We have been talking about it for a little while. We are on chapter 2.3. The title is Discipline is Not a Dirty Word. And so what we like to do here on the KetoMom page is help you with your mindset, give you things to help you understand that your mindset is important. And it actually is one of the key factors of whether you hit your goals, whether that's fat loss, financial, spiritual, relationships. Our hope is that you understand that your thinking is powerful. We walk through books. We do it together. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com and click on recipes, mindset, ketones, mom fuel, how to get started. But today we're diving into this book, which I'm super excited about.
All right, let's give them the first
All right, hold on.
highlight.
I got to put my Bubba cup down.
Yeah. Did you know that was the name of my first hamster?
Isn't this cute? It's a
Dwarf
cute cup.
hamster.
I got it from my friend Sherry. She's my mentor.
He was definitely disciplined because he multiplied himself to 47 hamsters. All right.
He did. And then he had to let them all go. That was his, was that your first entrepreneurship?
Yeah. I was in a hamster business. It started with one. I thought, he's lonely. He needs a friend.
How old are you? 12?
I was probably younger than that, maybe 10. And then what happened, though, the local pet store actually bought my first hamster baby. And I thought, oh, my goodness, at $5 a pop, I
can make some money.
I could make so much money. So then I didn't know anything about anything back then.
So you had 50 of them.
Well, it ended up the second time I went, they only bought 3 out of the 5. So I had 2 extras. So now I had 4 hamsters.
Which turned into 20?
It's turned into
then
20.
40.
And then it just was ridiculous. That is
There you go.
That's the end of that story.
All right. Here is the main point of this chapter. We're not going to read the stories to you, but you should get the book. But I love that he said this. He goes, trying hard does not work. So we've been talking about trying versus training. We listened to a really great message yesterday.
Yeah. So if you want that message, just comment message down below or send us a message.
Incredible.
We're going to send it to you. And it's just fascinating. Since I've turned on the awareness filter of just listening for that word trying.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. How often do people say, I'm trying. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to have a better marriage. So Craig did an incredible message. And I actually think it was yesterday, right? So we'll send you the message. You can read the book, but I would highly recommend listening to message. Post message below and we'll send it to you. And I'm just going to give you the one key point because I think sometimes you can hear things and I'm like, okay, what really is the difference between trying and training? And he said, trying is like you're giving it just talk, right? I'm trying to lose weight, but you actually didn't pack your lunch today. I'm trying to run more. I'm trying to work out, but you haven't bought in yourself the shoes or the outfit or the gym membership, but you think about it and that's not good enough. So he says, trying hard does not work. So we're talking about diving into the concept of training. And then he goes this. He goes, actually, I'm not going to read all the stories to you. He goes, training by doing daily disciplines. The word discipline is what actually works. So we talked about training. We talked about doing the things like buying the shoes, buying the outfit, prepping your meals. You're training every single day. Those are disciplines.
This is
Ranger.
King Julian. If you want to follow cute King Julian on TikTok.
Don't do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can do it.
He just launched his
career. Okay. I'm going to read a little bit of this to you because I think it's powerful. And then we can give you some true insight from things that we've gone through. And I hope this resonates with you because honestly, I have people that message me every day. And do they not ask me?
Every day.
I've been doing all of the things.
Yeah.
I've been trying. And I'm like, we're learning this word. Trying doesn't work. We even caught our family last night as we were talking about things.
Yep.
Steve's like, oh, no, we don't try. We do.
And it's interesting then when you people don't get it right away.
Right.
They just don't. They're like, huh?
What?
But I'm
But I am trying.
Because
almost likes to get mad.
We've legitimately been ingrained. It's about behavior modification.
Right.
Well, I've been doing it for 3 days. I'm doing so great.
I don't understand. I've been
Yeah,
doing it for a
but
week. The
then
weight hasn't
then
come off.
I ask, well, why are you doing it?
I don't know.
So, and I don't want
Right.
to condemn. I don't want
Right.
to judge. That has been my life for 18 plus years.
Yeah.
And I will say another quick update because we're journeying on this all together.
Yes.
Last night was a double birthday party.
My
And
mom and my brother. It was an amazing party.
There was a bunch of lie cake. There was cookies. There was carrot cake. All this stuff was there. And guess what?
You ate 0.
I had 0 temptations. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
When they brought the carrot cake out,
actually,
that was
keep going, 'cause
actually
there's a phrase in here that
pretty
will go
fascinating
to
because I thought, ooh, this could be the thing. And right then and there, it was like there was the cue. And then I thought, oh, but it's not so bad if I just have a little bit, right? You can justify things easily. But then I asked myself this question.
I'm going to read this.
And the question was, what would somebody who's honoring his temple for the Lord, like what would he eat? If I want to be a good steward of my body.
It's good.
And guess what? Carrot cake did not make the list. So guess what? I didn't eat it.
I'm so proud of you.
So I'm not going to say like I've completely mastered this yet because I feel like it is for me to say,
it's an everyday reminder.
18 years, I've battled with it almost every day, multiple times a week. And now to going from like, I'm 3 days away from completing my 100 push-up plan, which I'll give you some updates on Friday with some explosive numbers. But the reality is like, if you can define who you are before you start doing all of these things,
right.
I'm just letting you know, like it can
it's
happen.
A big deal. It is a big deal. So, okay, I feel like this pertains exactly to you. So he talks about discipline. He says the word discipline makes us think that doing things we don't want to do, like getting up early in the morning, making your bed, eating Brussels sprouts. Because what if I gave you a different phrase? And I think this will go with what you just said. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. There's always something that we want right now. That now desire it's seductive because it's a promise instead of a gratification, right? So for example, he says there's also something that you want most. So Steve wants most to be in the best shape of his life by August, by his 39th birthday. What he might wanted now, yesterday during the party, was the carrot cake. But he said, you know what? I want most, right? Mm-hmm. So basically he said discipline is getting into your mindset, what do I want most rather than now? And the most is still a gratification, but usually the gratification of most comes later, not in the moment.
Yeah, and it's deeply seated.
Right.
Like it has more meaning to it.
Right.
In the long run, other than, oh, that just tastes good.
Right. And so he gave examples. He's like, in your marriage, if you're working on your marriage, what you want now maybe is to watch TV and check out of life after a long day, but what you need most, and if you really, truly want a better marriage, is to sit down and have a meaningful conversation with your spouse. Yeah. Finances, right? What do you want right now? You might want to click that buy now on Amazon.
Oh, what you want most is to be out of debt.
Right. But what you might do now is you might want something that your friend has, or you want to go to Target, or you want to go spend the money because it gives you the instant gratification because you want that right now. But what you want most is I want to get out of debt, right? He talks about a spiritual walk. What you want most is a great relationship with God, but what you want right now is more sleep. It's the instant versus the long term. And so he goes, training instead of trying means choosing the right disciplines. Oof. And so he gives, I underline the entire book. Steve's always like, what are we talking about? And I give him the highlights, and then he's like, but you underline the entire book. The book is so good. So if you don't have it, there's an Audible book. He's doing messages right now. So we'll send you the message. If you didn't hear yesterday's message, it's called Trying versus Training. I really think that it'll wrap a lot of it up for you till we're up to date. If you want the message from yesterday, post a message below and we'll send that to you.
But for those of you who are on Instagram, who are tuning in, you actually need to send us a DM because as soon as we shut this down, all the messages disappear.
Yep. So he says, no one likes pain. Why would you choose pain? But he goes, either way. So he shares a ton of stories. Either way, you're going to have pain. So I'll give you an example. If you choose not to go to the gym, right? You don't have the instant pain or the soreness, but you're going to have pain later on down the road when you're having to take care of your sick body, right? That's pain. He goes, or you can choose the pain right now of the working out and having sore muscles, or later on when you can't get off the floor. Choosing, so there's just different things of like, you can either work on it right now or you can work on it later. And either way, you're going to have to work through it. It
Right.
just might not be the way that you want to. All right. There's so many things. I'm going to say to grab the book, but this is the thing I started, so I have to read this.
Okay, I think
and then
it's a
we'll
good
give
one.
the action step. All right.
Can I read this one?
Yes.
All right. So desire alone won't get you what you want most, but discipline will.
Right.
So don't avoid the pain of discipline.
Right.
If you do, not getting what you want most will be your biggest regret.
Right.
So think about that, because so often it would have been really easy for me to just eat the carrot cake last night. And I know this may sound like a really stupid example, but for me, sugars really had a hold on me for just a predictable pattern, something that you just see over and over and over again. And like Stephanie used with a lot of those different examples, it might be hitting the buy now button on Amazon. It might be, well,
the TV,
I've got all these goals, but I just keep hitting the snooze button. Or instead of talking to my wife, I'd rather just binge on Netflix and watch the newest series. Whatever the case may be, but you've got those goals, dreams, and desires for a reason. And typically it's really easy just to let the conveniences of the world kind of just take over
like run
our
life.
To run our life. I love how you said that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to encourage you that desire alone won't get you what you want most, but discipline will.
Right. And he says, think of discipline as choosing to do what's important to you. You repeatedly do the same things that are important to you every single day. You eat, you sleep. Those are disciplines. You also have the disciplines that are not great, either sleeping in, not going to the gym, making excuses. And so
think about this though. I want to just give a little picture. So imagine you go outside, you walk outside of your house, and then you walk to the mailbox, and you have to walk kind of just diagonally through the yard every day. Well, what happens after 20 years of doing the same path? Do you think there's going to be a rut? Do you think there's going to be a bare spot? Like, do you think there's going to be an ingrained path?
Wrecking the grass.
Okay, so think about your everyday life and those things that you want to overcome.
Right.
I mean, you've ingrained certain patterns.
Certain habits,
our daughter has been going through neuro-linguistic programming, and it talks about the patterns that you have in your brain. And sometimes you have to interrupt those patterns.
Right. By taking a different path.
For sure. But
that seems painful.
Yes, but creating that new path requires some work.
Some discipline.
And so behavior modification is where most people just originally go to. Like, I got to tweak my path just a little bit before I go. But you have to truly understand why you want to change the path before you do.
And it's important to hear this. We're talking about changing your disciplines and your habits, but before you did this part of it, before you decided to take the different route, or before you decided to implement a different discipline, you've already worked through who you are, right? We've talked about the trying versus training, and now you're going to put that into work, and you're actually going to do the work, right?
So good.
So here are the action steps. Number 1, it says identify the top 3 areas in your life where you feel like you lack discipline. If you're taking notes, if you're journaling, that's the first thing you're going to do today, maybe sometime on your lunch break or tonight. Identify the top 3 things in your life where you feel like you lack discipline. And then next, identify the top 3 areas in your life where you exhibit the most discipline. And it might be, what do you think yours are? I feel like we go to CrossFit every day. That's one of ours. We get up every morning and read our Bible.
Mine is honoring Stephanie's alarm clock. So like when I'm serious though, but like when her alarm clock goes off, to me, that's the cue to start owning my day. So I get up, I hit the red, like I just have a routine.
Yeah.
So I hit the red light. I was reminded last night through this still small voice that mindset and calmness matters to me. Like when I feel like I'm calm in my brain, I have awareness of what is triggering certain emotions in my body and things around me. So I have this really cool thing called the Muse headset, and it's been sitting in a drawer for probably a year and a half. Actually, it's been exactly a year. It said, you have not done this for 356 days. And so last night I was reminded to start doing that again.
Yeah.
But that
calms your mind.
Yeah. So that's an area where I'm lacking discipline, but it was a gentle reminder. And the reason why I want to is because if I'm like, it's just a part of my awareness.
Yeah.
So
I love that. It says in the parts of your life where you are choosing what you want now over what you want most, write down the reasons why you may be putting off the pain of discipline and risking the pain of regret. Does this make sense? I hope this is making sense. Grab the book, do the actions, Today, all you're doing is identifying the areas of your life where you lack discipline, and we're going to start changing that.
Yeah, I would say even me coming on to this live with Stephanie is kind of a big deal
It's a
because
discipline.
it's a discipline.
It's painful for him because he doesn't love to do it. You love to do it, but you don't like to always, you feel like you're a behind the scenes person. And I said, you have value to add, so I need you to help me.
Yeah, so I would just encourage you. Hopefully, like we'll see on Friday when you get some explosive test results. Perfect push-up plan. But
should we record you doing them?
I don't, if you want to, I don't care. I just have to beat 7.
All
you think
right.
I can beat 7?
Yes, you for sure can.
I'm pretty sure I can.
Want to read the principle, and then we will let them go.
So here's the principle for the day. So think about this, take this to heart, because
it
this
is important.
will radically shift where you are next year.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be beating the same dead horse a year from now. So discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. The path to public success is always paved with private discipline. So often people just want like what they see. Like they see all these other people doing all these things, but they do not see the behind the scenes work, the right choices at the right time. And most of the disciplines are extremely boring. You think to yourself like, oh, well, it's just not that attractive. It's just not that sexy. But the reality is to get all the stuff that you want, you have to do. Yeah, you get to
do it.
And if you identify the reasons why you want to achieve those goals or to achieve those dreams, it's deeply seated to the reason that I believe God gives you the desires of your heart.
Yeah.
And you are called and created to do only the things that you can do. And so stop sitting on the sidelines. Today's the day. Discipline is something that is so important. Identify who you are before why you do it, and keep plugging in to this book, to this page. Keep listening to KetoMom because she'll give you all the habits. And she's here to give you value with mindset because it does truly make a difference.
It does. It's important. So send us a message, reach out. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. Otherwise, continue to tune into the page. We look forward to walking through the rest of the book with you. And thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters, and we love to see your comments. So I hope you guys have a great